I've been leading the strategic role in doing arts advocacy on behalf of our members across the country on the federal level, in Congress and within the White House, in advancing pro-arts policies and arts education policies and tax policies that impact artists and arts organizations, to have a better environment for the arts to flourish and for citizens to participate in an accessible, democratic way into the arts in their communities. Today we are having our second legislative fly-in, where we hand select arts advocates in key congressional districts that match up with those congressional members of Congress that have an outsized power and role in funding and adopting policies for the arts. So we have advocates coming in from Texas, Florida, California, Oregon, all across the state, all across the country this year. And this is our second one. We also had one last month where we brought in 12 advocates also from different parts of the country. And the key that they all have connected to them is that their member of Congress, whether it's in the Senate or in the House, have a specific decision maker role in funding the arts, funding arts education, and opening up arts funding opportunities even within the Department of Defense, the Veterans Administration, and in adopting tax policies that will help artists and arts organizations. Legislative fly-ins, by its nature, are smaller and they're more strategic, and they are by invitation because we want to make sure that those advocates that have those key members of Congress that play those decision maker roles will be able to affect policy that affects the entire nation, not just their state, not just their congressional district. And so it's more customized, it's more of a hands-on approach. We attend each one of these congressional meetings and we help set them up as well for the advocates. We prepare great talking points and strategic points based on what committees the members of Congress sit on and what the talking points are to best address what our issues are. And what's so important about this is that they are really helping the rest of the country in arts organizations across the country. For instance, there may not be someone representing New York City on one of these key congressional committees, but we know that New York City is one of the most important places for cultural organizations, original creativity happening, the number of artists that are there. But perhaps someone from a small town in Texas is going to have an impact on policies that will affect those artists in New York City. And that's what we're trying to do. Politics are constantly changing in the country, whether there are times when the House of Representatives or the Senate is controlled by Republicans or Democrat, or whether the White House has a Republican or a Democratic president. And so because of those constant changing dynamics, we need to be nimble, we need to be able to respond to every election and knowing what the best strategy is every time we go to Capitol Hill. So for instance, this year, we're coming out of a November 2022 election that changed the political landscape. We now have a much more conservative Republican control of the House of Representatives that have already come in saying that they want to cut back all this discretionary funding for everything from education and labor and health and arts back 2 years. So we would lose quite a bit of money because of certain policies there. So what's important is that we address who now are the key members of those various committees, because there's a total shuffle that happens where one member of Congress that you've been working with for 10 years on something no longer has that power, and it's in the hands of a chairman who's never even met with an arts organization ever in their district before. So we need to build up that educational muscle in showing that key new chairman that you can't turn your back on the arts. You have constituents back home and they're coming to visit you, and they're coming with really smart talking points about why the arts are important in their district, and therefore it's important for the nation. We incorporate creativity innovation and nimbleness in our advocacy work. And it's a primary thing that we do. And we also include, as a full force of our advocacy work, is the equitability of it. So we at Americans for the Arts represent local arts agencies across the country and community-based arts organizations. So we first ask them, what are the important policies that you want us to lobby for? Not what we want, but what do you want? Then the second part is, okay, now we need you to come to Washington, and we need you to talk with the legislators that you've sent to Congress and educate them on why the arts are important. And then we need you to build a relationship with them. So it's not a transactional communication. It is a communication that is building a relationship with their member of Congress, so that they are not just having the one meeting in Washington. It's going to continue in having communications throughout the year. They'll invite them to cultural events back home. The key is that legislators simply need to see that the public investment that they make in the arts has a payoff that helps not only the communities that they represent, but the constituents that they represent, to help the arts enrich their communities and the lives of the people who live there. I mentioned that we're also bringing more creativity to our advocacy work, and one of the ways that we're doing that is we are now specifically tapping artists to bring their skills and their talent into advocacy work. And so this year we have partnered with artist Carrie Tillis from Nashville, Tennessee, to work with us on a project called Why the Arts Matter for every state. And so there are fact sheets about why the arts matter in Nevada, why the arts matter in Idaho, and there are stories that come with that. It's not just about facts and figures, it's about the stories about how arts organizations in those states are creating an identity for that state that is creating real meaningful connections and programs for residents in that community to participate and admire and be proud of, that the arts are alive and well and unique in their state. And so through a series of interviews, Carrie listens to all the gems that are happening that are unique to every state, and they are different. And what she does is then takes and puts it into a visual representation, creating original artwork called Why the Arts Matter, and it's named for each state. And we're in the process, when we do these lobbying visits and these fly-ins, we are actually having Carrie, as the artist, come with us and present the original artwork to these members of Congress. And it's been very well received so far. We've delivered it to 4 senators, and all 4 of them are getting it framed, and it's going to be hung in their offices on Capitol Hill. And it's reminding them that the arts are important in their state.